Saved by Grace, Volume 2. Smithton Motors and Auto. Please hold. This is Carol speaking. Hi, Carol. It's Michael Smithton. How's everything going at the office? Doing very well. How's your speaking tour going? It's going great. Well, on tour. Grace is doing fantastic. How's the kids? Said Carol. Great. It's nice to have the summer off. Carol, what are you typing? Just doing a little writing myself. I was inspired. Really? What are you doing? What are you writing? I'm writing myself a book myself. Really? Who inspired you? Your wife? What are you doing? I'm taking a creative writing class at the local college, Ozark Tech. No kidding. Very interesting, Carol. Do you take night courses? Indeed, I do. I decided to go back and take a creative writing class because I needed to learn how to do something that was more, well, let's just say adult education. Something that would give me some room to get creative, as I've learned from your wife. So my wife has inspired you. Yes, she's inspired me. So what's going on, Michael? How can I help you? Well, I just wanted to check in. I know there's going to be a staff meeting, and I'm going to be in for the staff meeting. You are, Michael. That'll be great. It'll be great to see you. So you're going to take a break from your speaking tour? Yeah, we're finishing up our speaking tour as of today. So we'll be flying back in with the kids. As you know, it's been a while since we've been home. This speaking tour is exhausting, but it's nice to be back home. So we'll be flying in today, and I just wanted to check in and see how everybody's doing. I will be in Thursday for the 2 o'clock meeting, so I just want to check in and let everybody know. I want to see how everybody's doing, how all the promotions have been, as far as how everybody's doing, basically. Well, we look forward to seeing you. Carol, it's nice talking to you. I hope to hear more about your creative writing and keep me posted. Okay, Michael, we'll talk to you soon. It's great hearing from you, Carol. Great hearing from you, Michael. We'll see you on Thursday at 2 o'clock. Don't forget, you're the boss. Don't be late. I won't. Okay, talk to you later. Talk to you later, said Carol. All right. As Michael and Grace fly in with the kids, flying in from Atlanta into Springfield, Missouri, Mom and Dad picked them up at the airport. Oh, I'm relieved, said Grace. Having a 15-month-old, a kindergartner, and a second grader all in one car, it's nice. It's only been a whole year since the adoption. Mrs. Yokoshoto is so happy to see everybody. So how was the speaking tour? Said Mom. Oh, it went fantastic in Atlanta. I didn't think that we would get such a warm reception, but we got the reception from all the local churches. And to be quite honest with you, we met a girl along the way who is going to speak in my place, and I can't wait to introduce her to you. She's going to be flying in next week. Oh, that's great. She's a domestic violence survivor, and she's going to be doing all the speaking, and we're going to sit in the audience, said Michael. What's her name? Well, we have to keep her anonymous for the time being, Dad. Let's get home. As they drove home from Springfield, Missouri, to Branson, they decided they were going to take one last visit to the old cottage just to catch up on old times. Honey, thank you for letting me stop by at the cottage just to catch up on memories. I just wanted to reflect on where and how far we've come. We've come such a long way since the cottage. It reminds me of how many memories and just everything that has happened over the course of the last 3 years. When we travel, I don't get a chance to slow down and appreciate things that I want to appreciate. And going to the cottage is a reminder of how far I've come and how far we have come as a family. That's okay, Grace. Mom and Dad didn't even know about the cottage till today. Yeah, said Adrian. You got to tell us about the cottage. Tom looks kind of confused and said, We didn't even know you lived here, Grace. You have to tell us a story about the cottage. I promise you, I will tell you about this cottage, about the story. It's part of the whole speech. It's part of my story. It's a huge part of my story. And when I get a chance to, I will. I just want you to just take a good look at this cottage and look at how small my life was when I first moved here. This is where I lived. This is where I escaped to. This very cottage was my home. And this is what you will always be reminded of how I lived before I met Michael. And the cottage is such a special place. I don't have words to describe it sometimes, but I would have never left unless Michael walked in my life. I would have stayed here until my last dying breath. Mrs. Yokoshona said, I understand. This is beautiful. This cottage is special. Why would you ever want to leave? I wouldn't leave either. It is so tiny and so quaint and simple. The cottage is so special. Look at the garden. It's perfect in every way. I could see why you wouldn't leave. The only reason you left was because of Michael. It's a good reason to leave, though. Michael's the best thing that ever happened to you. Yes, yes, exactly, said Grace. I've been saved by grace, said Michael. In a lot of ways, Grace, you saved my life. I was going nowhere. After the divorce of my ex-wife, Carolyn, I had no direction. My business could have tanked. Everything could have gone to ruin. My partner betrayed me. It took a lot of money to keep my business afloat. You understand why I spent so much money promoting people within? Because I could have lost my company because of my partner. He pulled out all his money. He pulled out everything. He pulled the rug out of under my feet and my wife. He destroyed everything. It's like the devil was in the details, said Michael to Grace. I put as much as I could into the business. I threw myself into that business. I was working day and night. And that night that I saw you at the gas station, as bad as I was, as bad off as I was, Grace, there you were, broken and beaten. We were right for each other from the start, though. Because as beat up as I was, I didn't have the physical scars of being beaten up, but I was beat up. So we were a perfect match from the start, Grace. Mom and Dad agreed. Yes, Grace, you don't even know half the story. You don't really understand how battered and beaten Michael really was by what his partner did to him. He took millions of dollars out of that company, and it took millions of dollars to recuperate the loss of that partnership. And Michael had to take out loans and he had to do a lot to get that company from literally going into ruin. So you came literally at a time that Michael was just pulling out of a really bad situation. Let's go home. Let's go eat something and let's call it a day. We had a long trip and we need to get home. Let's talk about this later. As they left the cottage, they were reflecting on how beautiful the white cottage with the pink pillows and the turquoise table reminded of just how beautiful Grace really is. As they got home, the kids settled in. They got their luggage out and they said, Mom, should we leave our luggage here? Said Jenny. I think Daddy's tired. Um, you know what, Tom? Said Mom. Adrian, we'll get the luggage. Don't worry. Miss Yokoshoto? Yes. Should we get the luggage or should we just leave it? Just leave it. We got to watch my favorite show on Hulu. Come on, kids. Let's go watch my show. As the kids rushed in, Elijah and Jenny carry on downstairs to watch Hulu, the show, a favorite show that Mrs. Yokoshoto loved. As Elijah and Jenny were enjoying the program with Grandma, Grace sits down and takes it all in. She says, Boy, it's so nice to sit after that long plane ride, Michael, sitting with Melissa, who's now 15 months old. It's so nice to have Melissa change diaper and all. Oh, she can crawl, she can walk, she can get around into everything now. They childproofed their green room. No more plants, no more anything. Thank God. The green room has been changed around because Melissa gets into everything. And Michael said, wait a second, before you let Melissa on the floor, make sure that the plants are up on the outside. I don't want Melissa getting into the plants. Okay, Michael, said Grace. Aye, aye, Captain. There she goes with that captain story. Dad, can I talk to you about something? She's calling me captain again. You're in charge of this ship. As long as it's not sinking, Captain. Adrian laughs as they chuckle at the story of the captain. Grace just says to Michael, the reason I call you captain is because we don't have a boat. You know what I mean? So this is our boat. This is like an expensive yacht. You don't say, Grace. It's not an expensive yacht. It's a house. You call me captain as, in other words, to be sarcastic. I get your sarcasm, Grace. You're a stand-up comic in the process. You're on your way, okay? I get it. Yes, I am. I'm on my way. I'm on my way to stand up comedy. My day is coming. You're going to get me back soon enough, said Grace. I'm just waiting for your turn. Whatever prank is up your sleeve, Michael, I'm sure it's going to be good. Anyway, the plants are in the patio. And fortunately for Grace and Michael, Melissa's crawling on the floor and there's no plants that she would get into. So as Michelle comes in the door, it's so good to see you, Michelle. Ah, how was your trip from Atlanta? Well, it was good. It was really good. It's so good to see you. We needed a babysitter really bad, by the way. Well, I'm here, and Jessica's on her way. What we did is we made sure all the plants were in the patio so that Melissa can crawl around, said Michael. Well, I can see that Melissa is definitely crawling. Yes, she's been crawling for a while. She walks, gets into everything. It's been a long time. I know you've been on a speaking tour for a while. So, how's it feel to be home? Well, we just got home, so we're exhausted, we're jet lagged, we're feeling it, we're feeling it, we're feeling it. Well, listen, I'll babysit Melissa. Go ahead and just recuperate. You got my full attention, okay? All right, thank you, Melissa. As Melissa babysits, I'm sorry, as Michelle babysits Melissa, they get a phone call. Hello? Hey, it's Nan. Hi, Nan. I heard you just flew in from Atlanta. How was your trip? Well, we just got home. Hey, listen, if you're not busy later, I'd like to stop by. Okay, if we're not busy, definitely. But we just got home, so give us some time to unravel things. We have a lot going on right now with the bags, the luggage that is downstairs. We still haven't unpacked the car. We just stopped by the cottage. So we were reflecting and talking to both mom and dad about the cottage. Oh, you'll have to tell me the story about the cottage. Yeah, we'll definitely have to tell you the story about the cottage. But in the meantime, either call us or stop over. Okay? Give us a couple hours. We're going to take a nap. Okay, that sounds good, said Nan. I'll talk to you later. Talk to you later. Naturally, after a long trip, they're winded and exhausted. So by the time Michael got off the phone, Grace was passed out. And then, of course, Tom and Adrian were passed out. And of course, Melissa was asleep too. So the only two that were up were Michelle and Michael. And soon enough, Michael passed out as well. And then it hit Michelle. She's the only one that's up. So Michelle decided to take a break. There was not a peep in the house. The luggage was still in the car. They were all exhausted from a long trip. Just then, Mrs. Yokoshona comes upstairs with the kids. Shh, kids. They're asleep, Mrs. Yokoshona said to Jenny and Elijah. Be quiet. Mrs. Yokoshona said to the kids, let's go in the kitchen. Yes, Grandma. Yes, Grandma. Okay, let's fix a nice meal. Let's make it a special meal. We're going to make sushi. Yes. Yes, Grandma. As Mrs. Yokoshona decided to make sushi and rice. Let's make it a surprise. They will be so shocked and they will be astonished that we decided to make a meal for them. We'll make seaweed salad too. Fresh water from Arkansas. Somebody may end up pregnant. We'll make sure that they end up with Arkansas water too. You just never know. Understood? Yes, Grandma. Yes, Grandma. As Miss Yokoshano made rice, seaweed salad, and sushi, she didn't spare any time as she rolled the seaweed and sesame gently with the seaweed salad prepared just perfectly and ready to be served. She would let the seaweed salad chill in the refrigerator and also, along with that, the sushi chilling in the refrigerator. Perfect timing. So that by the time everybody woke up, they would wake up to the bamboo flute and the music too, as well. It's just a matter of time, children. They'll wake up And they'll be surprised like always. Now, children, what I want you to do is I want you to draw them some special pictures of the cottage. Can you do that for Grandma? Yes, Grandma. Yes, Grandma. Excellent. I would like for you to make a special picture for Mom and Dad and Grandma and Grandpa. Grandma Tom, Grandpa Tom, and Grandma Adrian. Understood? Understood. Excellent. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Elijah. Grandma is so proud. So, as the kids continued to draw pictures, Grandma continued to make more seaweed salad. And she relaxed. She made an excellent dinner for the family. As time went by, she realized that they were probably going to sleep a little extra. So she really realized that it was going to be another hour before they woke up. So she waited for them. You're doing manifestations wrong. So she watched some TV. She was watching TV and she decided to
cultures knew the best way to manifest abundance.
To play the music. Children, no more TV, just music now. As she set the table up in the dining room area, she set the dining room table and the seaweed salad and the sushi and all the fixings, along with the rice bowls in such an order, along with the chopsticks, and prepared for everybody to come downstairs one by one, including the high chair for Melissa. And one by one, people heard the music coming from downstairs. And slowly but surely, she heard Michael and Grace coming down the stairs along with Mom and Dad. And Michelle followed behind. Mrs. Yokoshoto. Yes, I have dinner waiting for all of you. Come, sit, and wait. I will be right with you. As Mrs. Yokoshoto went to the refrigerator, she grabbed whatever she could in her hands. Come, join us for a Japanese-style cuisine. As she placed the sushi out and the rice and the seaweed salad out on the table. How delightful, said Adrian. Once again, I am happy. And so Tom sat down as his eyes lit up. And of course, Michelle, happy as can be. Jessica joined in just in time as she walked in the door. And Grace and Michael and the baby, and along with the children, Elijah and Jenny and Mrs. Yokoshona, all sat down and enjoyed rice, sushi, and seaweed salad. How enjoyable. Enjoy your dinner. And to their delight, they sat and enjoyed a Japanese style dinner. I can't tell you enough how much we missed you, Grace, Michael. It's been a long time coming. Yes, it has. As they sat and enjoyed a nice long meal together, they laughed, they joked, but was mostly, especially, they enjoyed the time. As Mrs. Yokoshino told stories about Japan and how she really wanted to learn how to dance freely. And she was so excited about the new rose bush that was now in the garden. And she gushed over the story about how Michael and her created that rose bush last summer. How they're going to have a new rose bush in another garden better than last year. And Michael and Grace were so excited about this new rose bush. How exciting it is! How exciting it is to see the roses bloom, said Mrs. Yokoshino to Grace. Grace said, I can't wait. So look forward to this. As the kids giggled and laughed and said, Mommy, Mommy, we made pictures for you of the cottage. And Grace teared up. My children, you have made me so happy. As Michael, just stunned at what he just heard. You made pictures of the cottage for Mommy? Yes, Mommy. Yes, Mommy, said Elijah, said Jenny in unison. And Mom and Dad looked at their son, Michael. Wow, there's so much more to this story. As Miss Yokoshino was cleaning up what was on the table, Michelle offered to help. Let's clean up what's left of what's on the table and finish up for the night. Miss Yokoshino, you have done so much for us. How can we ever thank you for doing this on such short notice, too? How did you do this? I have my ways, said Miss Yokoshino. It's called Walmart. And they laughed and they laughed. How funny that is that Miss Yokoshino went to Walmart to get all her supplies and needs. Michael drank a tank of water. He said, Boy, that rice makes me thirsty, Mrs. Yokoshino. I'm sure of it. You should be thirsty. How do you like the bamboo flute in the music? It's excellent, said Grace. You've made us so happy. I'm so happy to be home again. I've missed you so much, Miss Yokoshino. We missed you so much, too. Kids, it's time for the kids to get to bed. We love you, Grandma. We love you, said Jenny, said Elijah. It's time for bed, said Mrs. Yokoshino. As they hurried to bed, Michelle took the kids upstairs. I could listen to that music all night long, said Michelle. Yes, said Michael. I agree. Let's let the music just play. As Melissa fell asleep and as the night turned into dark, the stars just sparkled at night, twinkling. Mom and Dad just glared into the stars as they finally unpacked the car and got the suitcases in. Well, Michael, we finally got the suitcases here. As Michael hurried to get the suitcases upstairs, he said, We're just going to have to unpack the suitcases tomorrow. That's okay, Michael. Listen, we had a long day. It's nice to relax. As they finished cleaning up the dishes, Mrs. Yokoshino offered some insight. Listen, You're going to gain wisdom from all these experiences. Don't ever think that it's wasted on these empty moments. Fill your life with joy and happiness, Michael and Grace. There's many happy moments ahead of you, especially if you keep drinking that Arkansas water, Grace. Grace just chuckled and laughed. Michael, whatever you started, you you know, you you're the captain of this ship. That's right, Grace. I am the captain of this ship. And everything's going just fine. Everything's going just fine. And just then they got a knock at the door. Mom and Dad went to bed early. Yes. Hi. It's Nan. You just missed it. Missed what? I don't think I missed a thing. I hear Oriental music playing, said Nan. Well, maybe you didn't. That's beautiful. Nan just sat back and said, do you mind if I take some time to listen to some of the Japanese music? By all means, said Mrs. Yokoshota. Nan, enjoy, relax, have a seat, have some Arkansas water. As Nan sipped on water, mmm, I always enjoy my time with you, Nan, said Mrs. Yokoshota. Mrs. Yokoshota, I enjoy your time as well. As they begin to talk and relish over the music, Grace goes to bed early and says, good night, everybody. I'm going to bed. I had a long day. I have a little jet lag, and it's time for me to get some sleep. Nan and Grace hug. Sweet dreams, honey. Sweet dreams to you, too. As Nan says, it's time for me to go because I have an early shift tomorrow. Mrs. Yokoshota, as always, I enjoyed talking to you. We enjoy your time too. Have a nice evening and enjoy the stars, Nan. I will. I certainly will, said Nan. Well, Michael, it's your turn. You're up next. Yes, I'm going to go chase my wife down for a little bit. She needs to be chased after a little. She keeps calling me captain. I guess I got to show her who's captain. Oh, Michael. Sounds like a little romance in your life lately. Maybe that Arkansas water is really having an effect. Hmm. Keep doing whatever you're doing, Michael, said Mrs. Yokoshota. I'll go talk to my wife about it. All right, Michael, have a nice night. Good night. As Michelle clocks out for the night, Michelle, have a good evening, said Mrs. Yokoshota. You have a good evening, Miss Michelle. Yes, I will have a quiet evening at home. You enjoy. Jessica is staying tonight, said Mrs. Yokoshota. Yes, Jessica's staying for the night. Okay, excellent. You have a great night. As Michelle leaves for the night. Jessica, you're off duty, and I'm going to go to bed. Good night, Mrs. Yokoshota, said Jessica. Good night, child. Thank you so much for your work. We will talk to you later. I'm going to go to bed myself. As everybody went to sleep, they rested peacefully into the night. As the stars sparkled and the moon beamed into Michael and Grace's room that night, there they began to conceive their fourth child.